Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to Radio Works Live. My name is John Wright, and I'm your host for today, with my darling wife here, Kim. Say hi, Kim.
Hi.
And I want to cast you, I'm going to take my mind back now about 14 years, when I woke up in my hospital bed, where my daughter had just been born, Hannah. I would have thought that would be the most happiest day of my life, having just been a father for the second time. But actually, I've been going through a very dark period, and we'd had a lot of money worries, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to support the family at that time. And I was diagnosed actually with a condition known as schizoid affective disorder. What that basically means is I was in some sort of paranoid delusional state, whereby I was believing things that in effect weren't really true, but my mind believed they were true. So I believed we were going to run out of money, and I wasn't going to be able to survive, and it was a pretty dark place. So, what can I say? Kim, can you remember much about it?
But it's true that you were so worried about running out of money that I was worried to leave you. I was frightened to leave you because you were so unwell. And one day I got somebody to come and sit with you while I went and bought some shopping. And when I came back with the shopping, you were frightened to eat it because you thought that you were taking food away from the children. I don't know what you thought the children were doing, but they were eating as well.
Yeah, it was a tough situation. I remember being at home around that time, just before she was born, and I think the money was so tight that we'd buy it. Well, I thought it was. This is my opinion and my belief. That we would buy food, and then I just wouldn't eat it. It's been a bit like a bulimia type illness, I suppose. Some sort of strange thing going on. But I would need. I think I needed to leave it for Emily to eat and for Kim to eat. And I wouldn't eat it because I thought, there were other people more worthy than me that deserved to eat it. So, because I thought money was so tight that if I didn't eat, then the others would survive and I wouldn't. And that sounds daft, but that's just the way it was. It's just the way this illness works. So, but what I want to try and dig through today is that even despite my mental illness, despite what I went through, that there is a way out. That it all boils down to self-love, which I never really had at the time. I've now found out that if you love yourself and love the people around you, then anything is possible. Don't let people label you with whatever they want to label you just because you've had some mental illness or been through some journey that they may not know anything about. That despite all of that, you can come out the other side smiling, smelling of roses, if that's the right word, the right phrase. And yeah, I went through a really bad patch. It was a bit of a hellhole, really. I mean, nothing really in life can prepare you for going through what I did. And I just wasn't being me. It was this illness had taken over, and I'd just become a different person. Not a person that I particularly liked, and neither did anyone else really when it got to its really bad stage. And it's one of those things that I didn't wish upon myself or anybody else. It just happened. I had to put up with it. I had to pull through it. I had to, in a sense, get my head around what was going on because it was a mental process. And when it hit me at the birth of my daughter, which should be the most happiest day of my life, I was torn between two opposites really: the illness that was taking over me, and the joy that I should feel for being a dad all over again. And for Kim to then turn up at the hospital, as she did weeks later, while I've been sort of diagnosed.
Did it feel like weeks to you?
It felt like weeks, yeah. I mean, one of the abiding memories I had was when the family would leave, they'd spend an afternoon with me. And I remember going to the elevator and seeing them go down in the lift, not knowing if I'd ever see them again.
I come to visit you every day.
Yeah, even if you visit. See, that, to me, even though you visit me every day, the mere fact I was inside this mental health institute, and I wasn't outside being free, being able to walk and see the daffodils and smell the daffodils and so on. I felt like I was a prisoner, and I never knew when I was going to get out.
You just said that it felt like weeks to you, and I must admit that the wards are very different now than they were back in those days. These wards were bleak is the only way to describe them. It was a bleak place to be, and I think that I felt that I'd been there for a long time when I went and visited. So I'm not surprised that it felt like weeks for John. but I really did visit every day. And I even managed to fetch Hannah once or twice with very special permission, because they don't normally allow children onto those wards at all. So yeah, Hannah was in a baby carrier, and they let me fetch her in once or twice. To see.
It was a great joy to see her. I mean, I did. My mind was sort of telling me I shouldn't be where I was. I mean, I've been gripped by this illness, and yeah, it was a great joy to see them. It really uplifted my spirits, and I felt there was a way out. You know, that I didn't know why I was inside really at the time. It seemed so alien to me. Not, you know, it's a bit like being a prisoner, but not being a prisoner. I mean, under the Mental Health Act,
You weren't allowed out.
I wasn't allowed out, yeah, because I was basically a danger to myself. Because I wasn't looking after myself, so I was put on all these drinks with lots of vitamins and minerals in to try and keep me sane and healthy.
Yeah, because you hadn't been eating for so long. That even he wasn't really eating the food, even because he was. I think you still thought that it was drugs, didn't you?
Yeah, still feel.
And
yes.
So I sometimes fetch in. I brought in food with me sometimes, and one day I even brought in an Indian takeaway with the family, and we all went and ate it. They had a special room, family room, and we all went and ate Indian takeaway in a family room. But even getting John to eat that, because he hadn't eaten for so long, was quite a struggle, I think.
Yeah, part of the illness meant this paranoid side of the illness meant that I felt members of the family, even could be Kim, my uncle, who had a ring that I thought was issuing a poison. I thought he was trying to be poisoned by my own uncle. All these sort of thoughts that I was washing around my mind, which were just so alien to me. And yet this is what this illness was telling me, that, you know, the people closest and dearest to me, I thought they were trying to poison me. Now, isn't that terrible?
So John, tell us,
yes.
Recently, not so recently, sounds like in a different lifetime, but a couple of years ago, you had to go back to a hospital for intensive care and treatment, and now you are out, you came out. Tell us more about your experience there while in the hospital, because I know it was a lot of care from the doctors, from the team, from the medical team, and yet I feel that none of their effort would have been a positive outcome if it wasn't for you to fight for your mojo.
Yes, I really did have to fight for my mojo. I mean, I was being well looked after, actually. It's a place called Roehampton. What happened was we'd had a business meeting, and I actually climbed up on stage hoping to promote Kim's book, which wasn't the way to do it. And I've been, I think, feeling very hyper.
Somebody else's business meeting, not our business.
It wasn't our business meeting either, no. So I sort of invaded someone else's meeting, if you like, which wasn't the thing to do. So I felt a bit of a pilchard, I think is the word we'd use in English. Bit of an idiot. Looking back at it, yeah, it was a bit of a silly thing to do, but at the time it felt right. Anyway, so I ended up in this hospital for about the second time I'd been inside under the Mental Health Act. I think it was the second time, around about there. And in all fairness, the staff treated me really well. I mean, there was about 30 new staff that I had to get used to. And what I would do, I would look at their pictures on the wall and memorize each individual name. So they had to remember one name. I was like a teacher trying to remember 30 different names, which I then did. So even if a cleaner came in, I'd know who the cleaner was. So I'd memorize their name from the wall. So I used to play games myself, mental games, just to try and make the days go quicker. I spent about a month in there. And again, it was such a joy to see Kim and the girls come in and see me when they did. It was very uplifting because, again, I felt like even though I was being well treated, I still felt like a prisoner.
Yeah, it was a nice hospital. It wasn't.
It was actually,
it wasn't a horrible place, and it was. After a while, you were allowed out, and you went out for walks and things, and because it was Roehampton, it was really near Richmond Park, which you love, don't you?
That's right.
So I think, in many respects, it was a much nicer experience than the first time, and I think you were less unwell as well. In some respects,
I was
less paranoid.
I was less paranoid. I was even allowed out on my own. They would give me I get 3 or 4 hours where I was allowed to walk around the park of my own accord on my own. Eventually, when they were happy that I was taking my drugs okay and I was not really a threat to anyone, if you like. So it wasn't all to myself. So that period wasn't a bad one. Even though I was inside and I was still a prisoner, if you like, it was a lot less stressful than when I first went in, when I really hadn't got a clue what was going on. But yeah, again, having the love around me, the love of Kim, I mean, it's difficult to put into words somehow.
So you're saying that the love you felt from your family, from your wife, from your daughters, from your children, made you think, maybe I am worth it. Maybe it's worth going back to life. Maybe life is amazing. Maybe I should give another go. Forget what other people think of me. Being alive is not a prison sentence.
That's right.
It's a choice you are making to make something out of your own life. Because one, there are people who love you, and two, because you deserve to love yourself. For me, out of the two, because you are lucky, you have people who love you and people who adore you, and they are unconditionally making sacrifices for you, whatever it takes to make you feel better about yourself. But there are people out there who have nobody to show their worth, their love, nobody to be around, nobody to talk with. What would be your view on their circumstances? What do you think they can do to make it better for themselves?
It all starts with you, the word you. You have to start loving yourself. I mean, even though I've been through as much as I had been through, I came out the other side, if you like, because I still love myself. I love the people around me. Even though some of the psychiatrists that I saw didn't see in me what I saw in me, I still felt that I was worthy of love, and I was worthy of giving love. And I sometimes think doctors, all they see is medication. Sometimes their job, they feel that their job is, as long as they're medicating someone, they're doing okay. Well, there's more to it than that. You've got to look at a holistic approach. A person is a person, it's a human being first. The drugs may help in some circumstances, yes, but treat them as a human being first, and give the love, give that first, and give the drug second. That's what I would say.
I think for me, the hardest thing wasn't, although it was terrible the first time you went into hospital, and it was like a prison, but I think the time that I think you were more in prison was when you spent, and it was after you came out from Roehampton, and you became sick again. You shut down really, and you weren't communicating, and you weren't having a relationship with anybody. And I think you were in complete despair then, weren't you? And I think at that point you didn't love yourself at all.
Yeah, I'd slipped. I think I'd slipped again into a bit of despair, to be honest. In fact, a lot of despair, if truth be known. And that was mainly last year. I'd spend a lot of time upstairs in bed, and I wouldn't take the drugs because sometimes I was worried more about the side effects of the drugs than what they would do for me. And I was wondering about, when you read the label, when you open up the drug packet, and it can be a mile long of all the various side effects you could or could not have. And some of them seemed a lot worse than the illness I was actually going through. So I thought I'd rather have the illness than take the drugs, which is not necessarily the best way of looking at it. So I'd stopped taking the drugs, thinking that the side effects were worse than they actually were, or could be. And then I did slip into like a slough of despond, if you call it, a very desperate sort of place. But eventually, again, through a mental process, I did come out the other side, and I'm now here, with the love of my life sitting next to me.
I don't think you did love yourself at that point.
I don't think I did. It took a while.
You didn't think you were worthy.
No.
For a long time, you didn't think you were worthwhile. And I think that was why you were so. I mean, you knew that we cared about you, but I don't think you cared about yourself.
No, that's what Kim was saying. It all starts with yourself. You've got to learn to love yourself, despite what you may have been through, what other people may tell you, what they think about you. It definitely starts with you, and without that love of yourself to start with, to keep the ball rolling, if you like, get the ball rolling, then it's going to be very hard to really start loving life again and reaping its rich rewards, which there are plenty of, I have to say.
And nurturing yourself. There are lots of things you love doing. Like we both enjoy going for walks together, and we've got some beautiful country lanes around here, and we like to go and and walk around the country lanes. There's one particular one we do very often because it's not a very long walk, and it takes you in, and there's beautiful fields that look out for a long way towards London, and it's a very beautiful place to walk, and I think it's good for your soul to go and walk. And John stopped doing any of those things, stopped kind of caring for himself, stopped eating healthy foods, and would just, I mean, not that a breath of cereal is necessarily terrible for you, but if that's all you eat, it's not good for you.
No.
And just really not caring for himself at all. And I think that's, he needed to kind of feel that it was worthwhile to start doing those things again, things that make you feel happy.
In a sense, where it was nurturing the soul. Those walks Tim's talked about, especially this time of year. Now we're in spring, coming on summer. All the flowers are out in bloom. You just go in there, and you can't help but feel uplifted. It's such a wonderful place to be. And you've got the birds singing, you've got the flowers opening, and the skies are opening, and it's such a lovely time of year to be alive. And this is spring going into summer is my favourite time of year. So if I'm stuck indoors all day and I don't get out, that's very frustrating. So you can imagine being in a mental health institute and they're not letting you out when you feel you should be out walking, rather than sitting there, drinking their drinks and watching their TV and so on. It can be very soul destroying. So
TV generally can.
The TV generally can, yes. We've got to get away from the TV, get out there and see what nature has to offer.
So, John, I understand that connecting with nature is a very effective, very powerful medicine. It's almost like magic. You look at the tree, you look at the circle of lives, and you realize it's all there for you to enjoy, and ways to escape your own mind of perhaps filled with worries. Or what do you think is the role of self-esteem in your own story? On a scale from 1 to 10, what was your self-esteem before you went last time to the hospital, and how is now? What is it now, your self-esteem?
Last year must have sunk, self-esteem must have sunk to about a 2, something like 2. That you got that low. I mean, it was such a struggle to get out of bed. I didn't see a reason to get out of bed, so I just stayed in bed most of the day, and that was how bad things were. But as I say, I pulled myself through. I used whatever mental processes I have, because I knew that at the end of the day, there is more to life than just being stuck in bed or watching TV all day, which is pretty soul destroying at best. So, I mean, now I feel like a 9.5. I mean, I feel I can conquer the world. Despite what's gone on before, I feel like I've come through the other side. I've lost a few battles, but I won the war. That's what I feel like. And
well,
I mean,
so self-esteem is very important for well-being, and I know that the mental health is a taboo topic for most people. When they have it in their family, they feel they can't talk about it because they could be judged by others, or they could be bullied, or So I just wonder, in your own experience, what can somebody do, for our listeners, what they can do to raise their self-esteem from 0 or below 0 or 2, whatever it is right now, to a higher level? What is the next step for them to create that dynamic in their own mind about themselves, to see themselves with a different pair of eyes, with a new attitude? When they look at themselves, they can't, they don't need to see a person with mental health issues, but they could see something else that could raise their self-esteem.
Well, what you can do is cast your minds back to when you're with your family, when, say, you were with nature, when you were on lovely holidays together, when you were on lovely walks together, and cast your mind and think of all the good stuff. Don't let the bad stuff bring you down. Let the good stuff bring you up. There's one phrase I did learn, and that is, if you're desire to succeed is stronger than your fear of failure, then you will succeed. So if you don't let all the bad stuff bring you down, and you keep filling your life full of nurturing stuff, you know, like the sun shining today, let's get out and let's go and hear the birds sing, and let's go and look at the grass grow and whatever. If you can bring those to the forefront of your mind rather than dwell on all the negative stuff.
So in other words, focus on what you have already, what is in front of you.
Focus on what you have. Don't think about what you have now. Think of all the good stuff. Because if you focus on the negative stuff, the more you think of something, like the law of attraction says, the more you're going to bring it into your life. So if you keep concentrating on all the good stuff, all the happy, bright, sunny days, keep thinking about all the good stuff that's going to happen to you, then that's really the way around it. It's a mental process. Sure as night follows day, if you keep thinking about all the bad stuff, then it'll follow you around.
And I know that right now you are involved in an old project. You pick it up from where you left it years back. And you are writing your book. It's a book on Mojo. And I'm very excited about it, yes. So what is the book title?
It's called Free Your Mojo. I'm still trying to work on the subtitles. It's gonna be Free Your Mojo with the subtitles to come on as we work on it. It's a working title.
So it's work in progress. I understand that. And how is that helping your self-esteem?
Yeah, it's to help with your self-esteem, exactly. Yeah.
So how is that helping you and your self-esteem being involved in something you love doing?
Because it's something I love doing, it makes me feel happy. It gets the creative juices flowing. Because I've helped Kim write a couple of her books, being more of the editor, but also being there when she's writing them as well. And I can jolt her memory a little bit, and she can jolt mine.
Inspiring
when it comes to certain. We inspire each other. So as a couple, we work really well together.
Yeah, John's very knowledgeable about health and well-being and everything. We've been through this journey together, and John's done massage therapy and all kinds of things as well. So he really knows a lot about my topic. So he's really helped me a lot with it and bounced ideas with me. So he's not just the editor. He's quite modest about that.
We have what's called like a symbiosis relationship, whereby we help each other. You know, I help her write her book, she helps me write my book, and I think together we're much greater than the sum of the parts. Is that right? I think that's the way that the expression goes. Together we're much more than the sum of the parts.
So John, to raise your self-esteem, just to finalize this idea, the role of self-esteem in your life, and thinking that you connect with nature, you connect with yourself, you go back to the moments, the quality moments in your life, and you multiply those, and then you decided to focus on a project that you love being involved. You love finishing that off now. Even it was an old project you had to abandon at the time due to health issues. And looking at all of that, what would be the key message to our listeners for the people who don't like to admit they have mental issues, health issues? They don't like to go that far thinking I might have health issues, mental health issues, because that will dent their ego. What you have to tell them? What is, in your own experience, best to do when you want to build up your self-esteem from ground zero?
I would say that to surround yourself with people you love first and foremost, with friends and family, and let them know that no matter what the psychiatrists say, at the end of the day, it's what you feel inside that counts. Don't let them, just because you've been labelled with this mental health stigma, if you like, 'cause it is a stigma to some people, don't let it become a stigma. Let it just battle your way through it. Don't let it bring you down. As I say, that there's an old phrase, don't let the bees grind you down. I won't say exactly what it is, but it's a bit of a rude saying, really, so I shouldn't really say it out loud, but rise above what has been out there. I mean, be the difference that you want to see in yourself. and in a sense, and get that mental positivity flowing. Do things in your life that you enjoy, and it's all about being positive. Really, have that positive mental attitude that Lincoln Christie always talked about. So I think that's it, really. Don't let the stigma become a stigma. Get out there and strive for it to become not a badge of honor as such, but just work your way, just rise above all those around you that do bring you down. There's always going to be a few negative Nellies, as we call them, negative people in your life. But don't surround yourself with those. Surround yourself with the positive people, and by doing so, you bring yourself, a high tide raises many ships. So by surrounding yourself with positive people in your life, then that'll help you see yourself through to the good times.
Wow, John, I'm really impressed by your desire to be more, your desire to give more to other people. And you got so many talents, and sometimes it's very difficult to focus on one. But what would be something that you want to develop and deliver into the world to make it your legacy? What do you think is that one thing that you never get tired of?
I think it may not show through today. Here I'm sitting in front of a computer chatting to you, but I think it's to make the world laugh more. I love laughter. I think a day without laughter is a day wasted. So I think we should learn to laugh more, help each other laugh, and the world laughs with you. So I think if we can bring more laughter and joy into the world that way, then that would be a day not wasted. So I want to have at least one laugh every day. That would be my legacy I'd like to leave.
Okay, so here is your chance. Let's help our listeners and help me laugh today.
Okay, a silly little joke then about, I suppose the essence of the joke is don't judge me until you walked in my shoes. So if you want to walk in my shoes for 1 mile a day for 30 days, then at the end of the 30 days, you'll be 30 miles away from me and I'll have lost my shoes. So, that's one way of being. That's a silly joke, I know, but Kim's looking at me thinking, what did I say? But a daft joke, I know, but I was thinking about earlier what sort of silly joke I can come up with today. But that's it. It doesn't really matter as long as it makes you laugh or makes you.
Indeed. So you are going to come back here. You are going to make your Mojo show well known. People are going to get in touch with you. You are going to interview other people who went through similar circumstances, and they turned that challenge into an opportunity. You are going to make us laugh, and very soon we are going to read your book. So that, to me, it's more than
a lot of my playing, haven't I?
Yeah, so that's, to me, more than sharing your fair share of stardust. From all of us, until next time, forget to laugh.
Goodbye. And spread your stardust. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.